Hello, everybody. Yes. So, let me just make sure I don't really know the camera thing. Hi, Sani Yusuf once again. Good to see everybody here. So, today I wanted to basically share a short story, right? I wanted to share a short story. So, um, I just got a call from a lady, an elderly lady, for those that might be having ideas. Um, yeah, actually, now that I said it that way, it might actually give the wrong impression. But this is somebody that I call my mom, right? She's a French individual that I've known for years now. I've met her daughter. I've met her daughter's father. I've met. I've invited them both for dinner, you know, and all of that. And she's a very special person. I always call her daughter my sister, and she calls me brother. I should probably be doing more there. But it's interesting. It's really. Why am I telling you about this random person? And I don't even know what I'm going to name this particular video yet. So bear with me till the end. But I'll tell you a story as to how I met this amazing person. So why did she call me? She called me because she's just started a company. And she's inviting me to come to this company's launch, right? And she said she thought about all the people that had made a difference in her life in the past few years. And then my name came up. And I know I call her mom, she calls me son, but it's like we're not even related. She's French Caribbean. I'm Nigerian, you know. But here's the story. And this is a story about redemption, it's a story about maturity, it's a story about grace, it's also a story about I don't know, whatever. When I come up with it, I'll tell you. But before I start, there's a saying that a friend of mine, Maya once told me something, and I'll never forget this thing because I was telling Maya, you don't know who is who. Then Maya said, no, yes, Sunny, but also I remember her doing this. Maya's very tiny, and Maya, if you're watching this video, hello, Maggie cube size. She's like, no, Sunny, you don't know who will become who. And that stayed with me. You don't know who is who, but you don't know who will become who. So it's easy to be in a room and think, you don't know who is who, but be kind to people because you don't know who they'll be tomorrow, not just who they are now. So back to the story. Somewhere around 2014, it was 2013, 2014 was a very interesting year for me. 2013, 14, 15, thereabouts. I don't want to give a specific year for privacy reasons. But I just finished university at the time, and I had more money than the average person. I was making a good amount of money at university. I think at the time for just part-time work, I was probably earning as a university student. It was I was earning what part-time working as in 3 days a week. I was earning probably like if I was working full time, I would still be like in the maybe top, I would say like top 50% of earners, or maybe top 60, 65. Let's say, yeah, something like that, like top just around half. I'll still be way around the median or way above the median if I worked full time for that particular job. That was how good the money was, and this was me at university, by the way, partly from home. So something happened as soon as I graduated. I went from having a lot of money in savings to like no money at all. Like I had to live with it. Fernanda, this is not aspire to aspire where I was working barefoot. No, I messed it up. All right, I didn't plan. I should have listened to my dad. I shouldn't have quit my job at the time because so many things. But we live, we learn. And I want to buy a house to I haven't got a house. I haven't got a place to live. And I had to live with my friend for like I think 33 days. I'll never forget. And I then had to move into this apartment where I basically lived in the roof, right? Like all these rooms in London. And this was the first time in my life that I had to live by myself. Don't get me wrong. If I had placed a call to my father and said, hey, help me out here, he would have. And my father used to call me. But that was the first time in my life I said, I remember promising my dad that as soon as I finish university, I got myself completely. If I cannot tell him that I got myself completely, then I'm not the man I'm supposed to be. So if I find myself in a mess, all I need from him is emotional support. Not, if I always feel like I can just go back to my family, then are you really, really gonna, who are you? You are who you are when no one's watching, when you have nobody. And that's always been me. I've always been like a loner in that type of way. So I appreciate my dad didn't push, like, hey man, he just, okay, cool. So I got myself out of that situation. I got another job that was paying me at the time. The job I got, I would have been, if I was working full time at the time, I'm not going to tell you how much exactly they were paying me, but if I was working full time, I would have been earning around, let me see, I would have been earning nearly 5 grand a month, I think. Would have put me around like a 60K bracket. This was fresh out of uni. This was a long time ago. We're talking 10 years. I mean, if you earn like around 60, 70 today, you're balling. In London, you're balling. Don't let anybody tell you. 80,000 pounds a year is top 3% of earners in the UK. Hands down. This is statistics. So 60,000 probably puts you in the top 5 or 10%, right? Today. That was the type of money I was like, I wasn't working full time, obviously, and it was a contract. So, but at that time, it was good money. And I'm not saying this to brag or anything. I'm just trying to tell you how my life went from comfort to bruh. So I had gotten into this new job again that was not getting me out of the mess I found myself in. I was living in a room with in the house, 5 other people in a roof. Half of my room was like slanted. I couldn't stand. I'm 6 foot tall, just over 6 foot tall, around 6 foot tall. And I couldn't even stand half of my room. And it was crazy. I started becoming comfortable, saving up money. So finally wanted to move out to an apartment. And at that day, I lost this business deal that was potentially going to be worth, I think it was potentially going to be worth, was it £30,000? It was a lot of money. It was going to be worth a lot of money at the time. Like, it was this sweet deal. Bro, like, I had never executed any deal that price. That was new territory for me. It's going to make like 30 grand, was it 40 grand or something like that, 30, 40 grand in like the space of nothing. I was like, yo, this is it. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to build my mom a school. I'm going to give my dad that credit card where he can just spend whatever he wants, even though he wouldn't. I'm going to, my stepmom, everything, my sisters, I'm going to invite them to London. Bro. So I was negotiating a new apartment because now I had lived in this house for like, I think 8-9 months. I was negotiating for a new apartment that I was going to live. And so I get a call from the agency, right? I get a call from the agency, and the agent was very, how would I put it? She was very, very direct. She wasn't rude or anything, but she was trying to tell me that I needed to come to sign some paperwork. But before then, I'm just used to doing everything online. So I had just lost a 30K, whatever, a lot of money deal. I was not in the mood. And I was just like, no, I wasn't rude per se, maybe a little bit, but I'm very assertive, and I can have a very dominant personality sometimes, right? Way more before, where I was maybe less aware of how it came across to other people. Obviously, now we're older, a little bit more aware. So I was just like, no, ma'am, look, I'm used to just doing this over the phone, signing this. I don't need to come to your office. Please, I'd appreciate it if you just do this. So she was trying to tell me, hey, bro, I'm trying to help you here. There's a lot of people that want this house, but it just didn't come across. And I could just tell she was keeping her calm. I'm like, who is this fella? Who does he think he is? And after the phone call, I dropped the phone call. I wasn't necessarily rude, but I wasn't also kind. I was like, that's not how you're raised. I wouldn't talk to my mother like that. I wouldn't talk to my sister like that. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I don't even know this woman. I actually thought she was Eastern European. Turns out she was black. And, so I called her back and I said, hi. I would like to apologize. I felt like I came across a little bit wrong. And that's not how I'm supposed to communicate with people. I would like to formally apologize. And I remember saying, I knew it. I knew it. How old are you? And I was just like, I think I was like 20 something at the time, right? Like my early 20s. She's like, I knew you were young. That kind of thing. And I said, to make it up to you, I would come into the office, right? And do everything that you want me to do. That's fine. I'll come in and I'll apologize. I'll come and see you just to apologize first. And I went to her office. I'll never forget, I was in Westfield, Stratford. I bought flowers, tulips, and I bought a box of chocolate from, I think, Marks and Spencer's. Very, very nice, like freshly made, expensive chocolate. I bought a box and I went there. I've never seen this woman. And I went and I said, hi, I would like to give you this. I'm so sorry. And that was how our story started. Because she appreciated that, okay, you messed up. But then you caught yourself. And you're man enough to call and be like, this is not how you should speak to people. It wasn't about her agenda. It wasn't about her race. It wasn't about anything. I just felt like there's a standard I hold for myself on how I talk to people and how I expected to be spoken to that I hadn't upheld at that particular conversation. I did not uphold that standard. So it's not about her. It was more about me. Yes, like this is not how I expected to be spoken to. I expect to be spoken to. So I'm not going to speak to somebody else that way. Even though I might be having a bad day, even though I wasn't necessarily rude, but it's just not the standard for me. And I don't want this person to create an impression based on that standard. So I rectified that. Even if it meant they told me F off, middle finger, I would rectify that. I'll come and I'll humble myself. And that's one thing I like to do is like, I can be very argumentative and very strong, like willed. But when it comes down to being wrong, I have no problem raising my hand up saying that. And the reason why I'm giving you this story is now, look how years later, I built a relationship with this woman. She gave me that house. Rent never went up. When I was moving out the house, a friend of mine wanted to get the house. I told them, hey, give it to my friend. They just started, they would give it to my friend. They gave him a good deal. I still know her till today. She's starting a new company now in property investment, which, by the way, I'm probably going to be one of her investors. And she's saying, come, I want you. Like how she was talking about the phone, how that started. And the reason why I'm saying, you don't know who she's going to be today. She might go up to be the best property investor forever. I don't know that. But the whole idea is, be kind. It doesn't cost you anything to be kind. But it's not about other people. It's about yourself. Uphold a standard. Practice what you preach. Uphold a standard that you wish to be addressed. The same standard you wish to be addressed by. And I think that's the key thing here. I did not know who she was, but also did not know who she would go on to become. And I still don't know who she's going to go on, because I hope she goes on to become something really great, someone really great. But just because I was man enough to put my ego on the side, your ego should never be too big to say sorry. Genuine apology. Not just sorry. Hey, how can I make it up to you to prove to you that I genuinely mean what I say? Because it's easy to say sorry, but it's harder to mean it. At that time, I was saying sorry, but I went out of my day to say, I'm going to cancel tomorrow, whatever I'm doing, and I'll come to your office at this time, and I'll bring you some flowers, and I'll bring you some chocolate, and I'll sign whatever you need me to sign. And because of that, she made the process of me getting the house actually much easier. And I lived in that house for, I think, 3-4 years. I don't think I left the house till 2018 or 19. Somewhere around that. So I lived in the house for a long time. Beautiful house. So the moral of the story is, be kind, uphold a standard. I think maybe I might name this video Standards we Must Uphold, or something like that. I'll come up with it. But I just thought I'll make that. And most likely I'm going to go to an event, and I'll hopefully see. Now, hopefully this is the beginning of a new journey between me and her, where we make money together, and she invests money. I help her. I invest money in her ventures, and she makes some money back for me as well. So yes, thank you very much. Hopefully this was not too long, but yeah,